Okay.
Oh, look at this.
Involving imperfections. Every beginning's a lesson. Every end is a lesson. When forgiving's progression. To have your heart's a blessing. Fighting for the complexion. Living for the affection. I feel the love is destined. Whenever you are present. Sing it. I'm in the right direction. I'm into this ocean. Traveling in slow motion. Paddling with no question. I'm in the right direction. I'm into this ocean. Traveling in slow motion. Paddling with no question. Forgetting my projection.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Meet the Shoe. I'm Nina.
And I am Sade.
Today we will be discussing mental illness in prison, the effects of what it does to your mind, if it starts before prison, or if it starts after during or after prison. What you think?
It's probably most likely a combination of all of it. A lot of people don't go through a mental breakdown until something traumatic happened in their life.
Okay.
That's very traumatic as far as going to prison. That can be traumatic. So, you go through some things in prison.
Do you think that you've ever suffered mental illness? Do you think you have a mental illness, like as far as
I think
the time you done, the times that you spent there?
no, I wouldn't say. I don't know, maybe, but I kind of
Are you afraid
like.
to say it?
No, I wouldn't be afraid to say it, but I did kind of go through a lot in prison mentally.
Okay.
Far as being in there, you just kind of it's certain things that go on in your mind, and you be like just replaying stuff and replaying, and just your mind just going crazy, and you just keep on reflecting back
Right.
to what happened, and that kind of could put some kind of mental strain on you to a certain degree. And then I had smaller kids, you know, and on top of that, I was pregnant and lost a baby, so I was going through a postpartum thing as well. So
Okay. So, in your mind, at the time that you feel like mental illness took effect because of the things that were going on at that time, what kind of thoughts do you remember having? Like, did it take you to a dark place, or did it take you to a place where it was a lot of guilt, or was it like a depression? You just sat there, you didn't do anything about it?
It was depression at first,
Okay.
and guilt,
And what guilt from
and
what?
just feeling bad for my kids because I wasn't with the children, my children. So it's like they were the victims,
Okay.
and I was at a point that's saying, you know, I don't have any victims in my crime. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, people came to me and wanted the product. You know what I'm saying? That was my mentality. I'm like, I don't have any victims. Who is my victim? You know what I'm saying? I don't need to go to treatment for what? You know what I'm saying? So it was like, then I thought about, I do have victims. My family, my kids.
And then that always takes
the community.
People that are in the mind state of mental breakdown as far as selling or using drugs. Usually there's a major reason behind it that you make a lot of excuses about.
Oh yeah.
Right? So then that becomes mental, because you're constantly thinking about that all the time, because you got to use that as a reason to justify what you've been doing, right?
Right.
So you say, oh, I gotta get out on this block and get this money because I gotta take care of me and my kids. Well, no, girl, you know you should go get you 2 jobs.
Okay, and do something else.
You'll be just fine,
right? But you don't think like that.
We can choose, not us per se. We can choose better people that we mate with. So then that way when we have kids, then the strain isn't just on you, right?
Right.
If I'm speaking on just me being a single mother, right? And single mothers that at the time that you choose your mate, you're like, oh, you're picking the perfect person. Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing it. And then you end up you having a baby, and then everything flips.
Right.
Everything flips. So then you go into doing things that you don't have no business doing. So that's a mental state. That's a mental illness.
Yeah, it is.
Women that get out and sell drugs, they're doing what usually emulating what the men do, right? You want the lifestyle,
the fast
you want
money.
that money, and you think at the time that, oh, I'm okay. You know, you're doing it to be okay, without having to worry about bills, without having to worry about anybody coming to shut anything off or put you out, right? But it's still a mental illness because it's not right. You're destroying yourself, first of all, because you're implementing a drug or even scammers. You're doing something that you don't have no business doing to gain, right?
Right. Yes.
So you're getting the gain ill-gotten, right? So that's a form of mental illness.
It is.
I mean, nah,
you know, it is
that in the court of law,
right?
But it really, technically, it is an issue. It
is an issue because a lot of people say, "Oh, why this person keep on going back and forth to jail?"
They like it.
They like it. They must got a boyfriend or girl. No, it's not that. It's the fact of a person thinking, "Oh, I can make this fast money, and I'm just gonna make it till I can." Not thinking behind, I can go back to prison. You're thinking for that day, that moment that you want to make some money,
and you're actually thinking that you can
outsmart
it.
Yeah.
Better than you did it the last time, right?
Exactly.
So it's mental because you're telling yourself that, oh, I'm not going to get caught, right? You keep on rethinking it, keep on redoing it, but you don't have the patience to just sit back and wait, right?
Right.
To just chill and do the work, and everything will come to you easy. You notice how when you do something that just has a smooth plate, right? And you get into it and you get in the groove of it, you don't even sometimes have to go looking for the success to come to you. It just comes.
It just comes.
Because you're constantly keeping at it. And you're not focusing on, well, I could get here faster. I could cut this corner and get here faster. No, I'm going to go along this road and down this line and take my time until I get there, right?
And you appreciate it more.
When you take
the slow money, you working for it.
Slow money is for sure money.
Yes, you working for it. So you appreciate it more. And you kind of be more frugal with what you're doing, your money and what you're spending it on and stuff like that. So yeah, that is a mental illness, honey, because they couldn't tell me nothing until I went to treatment, and I'm like, yup, you sure right. I'm addicted to money. I'm addicted to shopping.
Right.
I'm addicted to the glamorous life. Right. That's what it was.
Okay.
Simply.
And so what made you be so addicted to it? Like, what's your first time you're thinking, like, mental wise,
you know what?
I gotta have it, I gotta do it, I gotta get it? Why wasn't you that girl that was a hard worker and went out
like
there
I am
and got
now?
those 2 jobs? Yeah.
Because I was okay growing up.
Your older self than your younger
growing
self.
up, seeing my uncle.
Okay, so it was influence.
It was influence.
So
seeing people in my neighborhood in the back of my head.
You're constantly seeing it. So you
I'm 10 years old. They giving us money to go shopping, $1,000 or $500 at a time. My dad giving us $2,000. Here, take this and go shopping. Okay. I'm like, we 10 and 11 years old.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And so
just
at
go
that
shopping.
time, what are you buying?
What? LA gear back then, right?
Yeah.
What else? Gas.
Okay.
Just stuff like that. And he had boosters buy us all kind of clothes, and you know what I'm saying. And seeing him with Mercedes Benz and Jaguars, and I'm like, dang, my uncle balling. He got money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that what I saw, and I said, you know what? How can I get there? How I'm gonna do this?
Right.
12 years old, I started doing it myself.
Okay.
Selling drugs.
Okay. So when you went to prison, and all those thoughts of, you know, when you was a little girl and teenager, having kids, and then going to prison, did you ever think of using mental illness as a weapon to get out of trouble?
No, and you know what, that you should be able to. I mean, Lord forgive me, because it is a mental. I mean, just like you said, we said earlier, money issues, anything that you have to commit a crime to get money for is a mental illness, because you keep on repeating the same thing over and over. That's a mental illness.
Imagine the times that you've gotten ill-gotten things and you didn't get caught. We never even think to add that up, right?
Right.
But that is something that you should always think about, I think.
So when was your first time you thought you started, your mental illness broke through?
Right. Okay, so when I was younger, I grew up in a house that I seen a lot of adult things going, right? I would hang there and be there, you know, when my mom had to go to work. And I didn't see anything that was like detrimental to me as far as this. I used to be, I'm going to give an explanation. I was asked to be the spade cutter, right? You see the adults at the table, they asked me, come over and deal the cards.
Right.
I come and deal the cards. I lay cut the deck for them. I stand back. Oh, Nina, go get me a beer out the refrigerator.
And they give you $1 to do all that.
Every single time.
Yes.
The adults were at the table, a long table, and they would say, go get the beer. Go upstairs and get that bag. Well, one time someone told me to go upstairs. They had like left their coat, hang their coats upstairs or whatever.
Right.
They say, bring your, go upstairs and get my coat. I go upstairs and get the coat, and I bring the coat down. And it was to a friend that was hanging out where I was at. And when I take the coat off the hook, a bag fell out. There's a Crown Royal bag, right? It was purple and gold. So naturally, as a kid, you're gonna be nosy,
right? Exactly.
So when I look in there, it's rolls of weed in a bag, and it's like maybe 20 of them could fit in but they were rolled up, right? And so it rolled up like a joint, but it was in long plastic bags. And so they were stuck together. So at that time, I didn't know I knew what I was seeing. I was like, ooh, this is weed, you know, like, and laughed to myself, right? Hurried up and put it back in.
How old were you?
Took it. I was under 10, but I knew what it was, right? Because you could smell it. You know, weed, you can't never get past that. That smell sticks. So then I took him his coat, and I just always replayed that in my mind. You know, me being slick. I never said what I saw. I didn't tell nobody else, you know, in my family what I saw. So then another time when it's like, oh, Nina, can you come down here and come cut the deck? Come get you $5. Come cut the deck, right? Because it wasn't like I hung at the table while there was a lot of, you know, smoking and drinking around. But I, you know, visited often throughout the day whenever they decide to do it. So then it's like, come down, you know, get us something to drink out the refrigerator, or bring something from upstairs, right? Okay. Another time I remember going down, this was like maybe when I was like 12 though, right? I was told to bring down a bowl, and in the bowl, it was like crack, but in a bag, and they were in little bitty Ziploc bags, right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so I didn't know what that was. I didn't care. You know, it looked like rocks to me, which it was, but I didn't know nothing about what it was.
Right.
So I took it down, but that's just a memory that I had, you know, just being in the house,
being around,
being the runner, really, of cutting the card deck, getting the beers out the refrigerator, or bringing down, anything that someone asked me, a coat, like I said, a bowl. And then another time I remember, I was coming in from school.
Right.
And as I was coming in from school, I could see someone doing transaction. I didn't actually know what the transactions were.
Right.
But because that was kind of hidden from me, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know exactly what it was. But then when I got maybe within that year or a little bit older, and I started getting out in the street, and then the crack epidemic had came through, and I started trying to get me some money, because of those are just steps of things mentally of what you see as a child that makes you think like, okay, you see drugs, you see money. You know what I'm saying? So
and it connects,
that's how it connected, and that's how it started, right? And then I went into my own things, and hanging out with different dudes, and so get my own bag.
Yeah, that's when you know it's a problem, when an adolescent and a child sees things that you're not supposed to see.
Yeah, you think that they don't see, but they always
always see like that type of action. So that's what make us older than what we're supposed to be. Right. when you're a child. So we have to be careful with what our children see.
Right.
And what anyone's children see. So that you guys, it's very important, because kids suck in everything like a sponge.
Well, yeah, and they also watch their parents, even when their parents think that they're not watching. They hear when their parents think that they're going and whispering downstairs in the basement, upstairs in the room, in the closet, talking.
Oh, kids are nosy.
Kids are very
I remember
nosy,
being nosy. My mom in the room, I'm looking through the little peephole, like,
yeah.
What's going on here? I see something. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So it's like they're nosy. Nosy is all get back.
And on here it says that how does prison affect your brain? And it's a gateway to emotional withdrawal, depression, suicidal tendencies, as well as increased levels of hostility.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the exposure to violence in prison and jails can exacerbate existing mental health and health disorders.
And I believe
right?
that. Yeah, I believe that. So listen to this. You have all these nonviolent crimes going into prison.
Right.
The same prison as you will have a violent offenders. You know what I'm saying? It's people that don't care. They'll murder somebody, throw somebody off the tier, or whatever, fight, whatever. And you just this person that I just came in and sold drugs. I'm doing 7 years. My first time, 8 years. You know what I'm saying? Ain't killed nobody.
Right.
But you seeing all this. So that makes you kind of hardened.
Yes, so hardened.
Going through,
when you come out.
Yeah, I mean it's terrible. So why we have to the system has to find a way to sit here and put non-violent criminals in their own little island away from the violent ones.
Do you think that mental wise, right, that there is a book or there is a person that can prevent you from being mental ill, as far as if you didn't go in there with a mental illness and then you come out with one and you're not even knowing how to identify with it, right?
Right.
You're not even identifying that you have a mental illness.
But your family would identify.
Your family
know the change.
Like when I first got home, my kids would tell me like, I'm mean, right? And I thought because I'm giving them money and because, hey, I'm back now,
right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like, no, Grandma been doing this job. She been doing this job this whole 8 years. So you can't just walk in and shaking your finger in their face, right? You got to build that trust up, right? And so building that, you're upset because you're like, you think you're that person. That's where the time warp comes in. Like you get checked. You think you're that person of who you was before you left. You're mommy, right? You're the star. You're the moon, the stars, the sun. You're everything, right? But when you get back, it's like, oh, wow, that's my mom. I'm glad she's back. And then they touch your face. They touch your body. They want to be around you. But the moment that you try to teach them a lesson, They go run back to grandma, auntie, cousin, whoever was holding them, supporting them, being there for them while they were, while you were gone, right?
Right.
And so pulling away from that and not, and accepting and that your kids don't want to respect you, right? And they're not paying attention. You think that they should grow with you, right? They should understand, right?
Right.
But they're not realizing that their mom or their dad, when their mom and their dad get out, their mental is not together, right?
Right.
And that you should be a little bit kinder and softer in supporting them to make them be better so you can listen to each other, right? And once you're listening to each other and you got the communication, then everything works, right? I think people that have mental illnesses are not heard.
Right.
I'm just speaking from my perspective as far as dealing with that, right?
Right.
I've never been diagnosed with a mental illness.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And I don't believe that I have a mental illness. But I can say that when I got home, people not understanding my struggle of when I was gone,
right,
that will make you upset too.
Yes,
where you want to hurt somebody, right? So then you have a mental illness because you want to hurt somebody because they ain't feeling and rocking with what you're saying, right?
Yep.
They're not understanding that. Okay, you're saying, oh, just get a job.
Right.
Oh, just calm down. Oh, you're too loud. Oh, quit tripping. You're always tripping.
Right.
Well, dang, what's up? Like, you can't handle what I just went through.
No,
just
a lot of people can't.
Support me on what I just went through. So I went all the way in.
Yeah, so it's just a lot of, it's short term, long term, right? Short term, long term mental illnesses. It happens with everyone.
Yeah,
even through pregnancy, it's really worse.
Right.
You're going through something, postpartum, all types of.
So postpartum and mental illness.
And depression.
Is a double dose of bad, right? Yeah, that's an explosion right there.
Yeah,
because you're not only emotional off of the fact of your mate ain't acting right. Your other kids may not be acting right. And your other kids may be the only one supporting you, and then you acting out towards them because of your mate not acting right, right? Or your mama, your daddy, whoever is not doing what you need them to do. So being pregnant and having trauma, that's a major explosion.
Right. So when you, as we reflect, we're talking about pregnancy and stuff like that in prison or right before you go to prison.
Right.
So everybody knows we go through something. Chemical imbalance, hormones off, whatever.
Right.
We go into the story. A lot of women have been going to prison for killing their children or a baby or so. So we go into the story with Nicole Beecroft.
Okay.
She was 17 years old.
Okay.
And the whole time hiding her pregnancy.
Okay.
She'd go to school every day. She was a senior at Tartan High School.
Tartan High School. Wow.
So 17 years old, going through the changes by herself alone pretty much. Her mom didn't even know she was pregnant.
Really?
No one knew.
How much weight did she gain?
She was already a nice, chunkier young lady. And she sentenced
to 14 years.
I think she had life at the time.
Okay.
She was sentenced to life because the judge, one thing she did was kind of wrong. She really didn't know anything about the law. She's 17 years old. She's going through trial. She's going through all these emotions anyway. She don't know what's up. A lot of us don't know what's up with the court system.
Right.
So she waived her jury trial to do a judge trial.
Okay.
And she's going through trial and stuff. And she just, they convicted her of first degree premeditated based on saying that she had the baby and she could have dropped the baby off at the hospital or something like that.
Okay.
But instead she stabbed the baby.
Wow.
Yes. So she had.
Where did she have the baby?
She had the baby in her basement, in a laundry room, concrete floor by herself.
Okay.
Gave birth. And she explained that she laid down with the baby for about 10 minutes.
Okay.
And just got really scared.
135 times?
135 times she
wow.
stabbed the baby. So court record shows that the baby had stab wounds to the neck, the abdomen, and the chest area.
Okay.
And before she went, and I think she even went to school even after having the baby.
Okay. She threw the baby in a trash can
the trash can outside of her house.
Wow.
And only one person knew she was pregnant, a friend of hers. And her friend told that she gave birth to the baby and it's in the garbage somewhere. So she was at work and the police came to talk to her about the baby and did she have a baby and so forth. And she told them, yeah, the baby was stillborn.
Okay.
The baby was already dead when she had the baby. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
that was her story.
That
was her story.
Okay.
So as they did the autopsy, the police went and looked at the house, searched the house, and found the baby in the garbage can, and signs of blood and stuff like that. And they saw that the baby was alive, but she stabbed it, and that's how the baby died.
Okay. So did she come from a 2-parent family home or just?
I'm not sure. I think it was just the mother was at home.
Okay.
They never talked about a father, but they did talk about in the court documents that she had the guy, the father of the child, and his mother was at court, and they gave testimony, but they never read the letters out loud. They just gave a testimony to the judge, and that's when the judge just gave her the ultimate life in prison without parole.
So I take it that the baby's father was upset, and the parents on the other side were upset that she
possibly.
Because he read their letters and then he gave her
the judge
sentence?
Read the letters and then gave her the sentence. Yeah, so she went up for post conviction, which that was denied, and she Supreme Court, and then I guess appellate Supreme Court, and I'm assuming she got some of that time back.
Okay.
So right now she's out. She got out of prison went to work release December last year, 2020.
Okay,
so I'm sure she's home. Yeah, she's home. Okay. And I hope that she's doing well. I mean, things happen,
So she's done, what year was that?
It was 2007, and she's done about 14 years. 14 years total.
Okay.
14 years.
So,
and the thing is,
what do you think about the sentence as far as her, killing her baby and her getting life, and not the time, we're no judgment of
no judgment at all.
Someone should get,
but she suffered from some kind of depression. They call it neonaticide syndrome theory. It's a psychotic breakdown when you give birth to a baby.
Okay, so she wasn't taking any medication prior to the pregnancy. Okay.
No, she wasn't. Right. So she's out, and I guess I don't know if she's doing well or anything. I haven't done any research further than that. Okay. Because it was just I'm just finding out she's out. So.
Right. Okay. Was you in there when she was?
Yes. Knowing her, I had talked to her. Seemed like she was a very sweet young girl. Okay. Kind of naive. Okay. You could tell.
Right. 17.
She was very scared.
She grew up in prison.
Yeah, she pretty much grew up in prison. Okay. But the whole thing is, she really didn't. I think she was there 6 months. She wasn't there long, and someone framed her, I think, and said that she was trying to escape. So and then they sent her to another prison because Shakopee prison did not have walls or no security around, just bushes around the facility. So you could just walk off the ground if you want to, So they sent her to another prison.
So Cara J says that's mental illness, as well as parents instilling fear in a child to dictate their behavior instead of educating and having open dialogue and communication with the child.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I just don't understand why would she even hide it? It was something had to been going on. Because I know I was pregnant at 16 years old. Right. I kind of hid it for 4 months, but I knew. I knew I couldn't hide it too long because I was gonna get big. Right. My mother kept on saying, "Why is you and your sister sleeping so much? My sister was getting all the symptoms. I'm just laying there looking at her, and then I'll fall asleep. But she thought it was Lola, and it was me all the time. Right. So I finally told her, I was like 4 months, and hey, that's it. That's it and all.
I told my mom. I was hanging on the other side of town. My mom was on one side of the town, and I was hanging a whole lot.
On the north side? Or?
On the north side. She was on the south side. I was on the north side. And then when I actually was, like, right before I got pregnant, when I got pregnant, she was on the side of town that I was on. Mm-hmm. Then she went back on another side, the south side. Mm-hmm. And then when I was pregnant, I didn't get a chance to see her because she was like, kind of sort of in between, purchasing a house and stuff. So in between that move, one time I went to go see her, and she was telling me, hey, this is where we're going to move to and this and that. And I was like, I'm pregnant. What a way to say that, right? And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I'm pregnant. She was like, oh, the Nina, like. Really?
She wasn't mean or anything like that?
No, not at all.
Yeah, my mom wasn't either.
She just asked me real questions. She was like, what are you going to do? Mm-hmm. What are your plans? Like, she was hardcore on me. Like, you got to finish high school.
Oh, yeah.
You got to go to college. And she was like not saying anything to like hurt me. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was really, really supportive.
Good.
Yeah, she wasn't like, get rid of it or anything like that. Okay. She just was like, hey, you got to get you some money. Right. You got to figure out what kind of career you gonna get, girl.
So you raise this baby.
You got a baby. So no more partying. Mm-hmm. No more clothes and stuff. And at that time, I was buying my own clothes and things anyway. I was hustling. So I had me some money, you know what I'm saying? And she wasn't really like stressed out about that part, but she was worried about, where you gonna live at? Mm-hmm. You can't live in no bad neighborhood, and you gotta you're gonna have to make a lot of money because you gotta figure out how you gonna take care of your child. So.
Oh wow. Yeah. Well, so what's going on with Kamala Harris?
Oh, okay. So today I seen that a guy named George Howard, I believe. Mm-hmm. She supported him at getting out of prison.
And what was he in prison for, at first for?
He had he was trying to post bail, right? And she was supporting him, I guess, on trying to, him getting out of jail, right?
Right.
And then now he's charged with murder.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so
he committed another crime after she supported him, or was that within the jail?
Yeah, well, I don't know if he actually committed the crime after she supported him, but I know that now I don't know if it was he did the crime prior to her supporting him, or if it was when, just now. So,
oh, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's being charged with murder. So, yeah, we'll see how that turns out.
Well, I would like to say a big R.I.P. to Michael K. Williams. Right. He OD'd off heroin. Yeah, they thinking fentanyl was in it, right? Possibly. I heard that they're looking for the drug dealer that sold him the drugs.
Right. So the last
conversation he had, whoever on that phone, that's who they're gonna go and watch or go talk to. Right. But it's a sad thing for New York. He was a big
he was real inspiring.
Yes.
On so many levels. I watched him on Viceland channel, right? Uh-huh. And he used to do go visit different people in the dark world, in the underground world. Now that's scary. Mm-hmm. Like, he had a heart of steel, because he would go like overseas. He would go, like, he did an episode one time on the carjacking trade.
Oh, wow.
Jersey, right? And he went really underground. You know, they wouldn't allow their faces to be shown on TV. Their voices were, you know, blurted out, but they was getting their story across, right? And he was going through like the drug trade and different things. So yeah, I remember I seen him more on Viceland than I've seen him on anything. He was on what, The Wire?
The Wire, Omar.
Okay, yeah. So was that his start, right?
I'm assuming, but he was a dancer first.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was really, I mean, and he looked really good for his age.
Yeah, he did.
He looked really
Yes, he
good.
did.
I wouldn't have never thought that he was taking any kind of pills or doing anything.
Right, you wouldn't.
He looked real healthy, and his spirits were always up. He always encouraged people.
Yes, he did.
Was very supportive.
The supportive thing I've loved about him was he was for juveniles, helping the juveniles being incarcerated, stopping mass incarceration.
Right.
Prisoners, starting with the kids. You know what I'm saying? So, he's going to be missed, and rest in peace.
Definitely, yeah. He put his body of work, his feet prints all across this world. So definitely left lots of positive things in the world for us to look at. I'm pretty sure his people will put out more content, more creations that, you know, are in the archives of his, you know, legacy.
Yes. So guys, thank you for tuning in. But before we leave, we're gonna have a guest speaker next week, Kathy Sublett, and she has a story to tell you. She has a great program now. She has a nonprofit, and she helps women, men, everyone with their credit, expungements. So this is something you will want to hear and get some good information, because expungements and how to get a pardon.
Right.
So she's very resourceful. So we would love for you guys to hit us up on that one next Wednesday at 6 p.m.
And we're also asking you to please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
Yes.
And if you have any topics that you would like for us to discuss, or anyone that you would like for us to interview, send us an email at meettheshu2019@gmail.com, or we take DMs and inboxes as well.
And support our clothing line, Bossed Up Beauty, activewear and waist trainers. Yes, it will be down. The link will be down below for you guys to tap in and look at some of the stuff we have: activewear, waist trainers, waistbands, whatever. Thank you guys, and have a great evening.
Question.